Have you ever seen a bird die? Not the moment itself, before. One day they're on the branch, singing, and the next they've simply vanished. No warning, no dramatic scene, no body. As if they evaporated. Where do they go? This isn't a small question. It's one of the oldest questions humans ask about the animals that live alongside us. And the answer, when you truly understand what's happening, changes the way you see every bird that crosses your path. On this channel, we dive deep into this kind of mystery. If you haven't subscribed yet, do it now and stay until the end, because the last thing we'll cover here is something scientists discovered recently, and it raises a question that hasn't left my mind since I read the research. The numbers alone say something alarming. An estimated 1.5 to 4 billion birds die every year in the United States alone. A study published in the journal Science in 2019 showed that North America has lost 29% of its bird population since 1970. 3 billion individuals. 3 billion. And yet, you've probably never found a dead bird on the street. You can count on one hand the times that's happened to you. How is that possible? The answer has several parts, and they get progressively stranger. The first part is the most practical, and even it is surprising. Birds are prey. The entire natural world is after them. Hawks, cats, snakes, other birds. When a bird dies, the body disappears within hours, sometimes minutes. A hawk can detect a carcass from above and dive before you blinked twice. Crows and vultures do the same. The forest has an invisible, extraordinarily efficient cleanup system, but concealment alone doesn't explain everything. The second part is about behavior, and this is where it starts to get more unsettling. Sick or severely injured birds do something very specific. They hide, actively, deliberately. A dying bird will fly to the densest interior of a shrub, to the back of a thicket, to the most inaccessible place it can find. It becomes still, feathers ruffled, eyes half closed. It stops singing, stops moving. It disappears from the world before it actually dies. Animal behavior researchers call this terminal concealment behavior, the instinct to vanish before vanishing for real, because a vulnerable bird that appears is a bird that becomes prey before dying in peace. Evolution punished every individual that died in plain sight. The instinct to hide survived. But there's a third part, less intuitive and far more unsettling. Now, let's talk about the part that gets uncomfortable. The question scientists began asking isn't just where do they go, it's how do they know it's time to go? And this is where recent research changes everything. A study from the University of St. Andrews in Scotland, published in 2022, investigated the physiological changes in birds in the final stages of illness. What they found was that birds show measurable hormonal and neurological changes hours before death. Shifts in corticosterone levels, the stress hormone that rise differently from ordinary stress. In other words, the bird's body signals internally that something irreversible is happening. It's probably not consciousness of death the way we experience it, but it's something, an internal state that changes behavior in a radical and specific way. Think about this. The bird you saw on the branch yesterday may be experiencing at this very moment an internal state that no human language can fully describe, and it goes away alone, in silence, to some dense and dark place, because something inside it changed. Here's what you should take from this. Birds vanish when they die for 3 reasons that fit together. The ecosystem consumes bodies with brutal speed. The concealment instinct leads them to actively hide when they're vulnerable, and the animal's own body seems to signal, in some way, that the time has come, changing behavior hours before the end. It's not magic. It's evolution, physiology, and the silent workings of a world that exists parallel to our own. You're going to look differently at every bird from now on. The one sitting too still on the branch. The one that didn't sing this morning. The one that disappeared from your window without warning. They've always been carrying this instinct. You just didn't know what you were seeing. Tell me in the comments, have you ever found a sick or dying bird? What happened? I'm curious to know where you were and what you felt in that moment. Until next time.